authentic genius and live the life you desire.
You are now listening to
Join Dr. Rademaker for an enlightened conversation about our brain intelligence, our body intelligence, and our energy intelligence. And now, here's your host, Dr. Bart Rademaker. For an enlightened
I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker.
brain intelligence, our body intelligence, and our energy intelligence.
Do you have the website on in your background?
Yeah, it's not supposed to do that.
If you have Star Worldwide on your background, that's probably going to do that.
Yeah, but it's not. This is not supposed to happen, and I don't know why it's doing it.
Do you have the website on in your background?
Yeah, it's not supposed to do that. Yeah, but this is not supposed to happen.
If you have Star Worldwide on your background, that's probably going to do that.
Yeah, but this is not supposed to
Website on in your background?
I don't know why
The website on in your background?
So what's happening is that Facebook, for some reason, is choosing to play it right away.
So you're getting instant feedback.
Yeah, and it's never done that before. And so what often happens is that they let me try something else. So I know Paul's on there. Hey, Paul. We have some interesting things going on here on this. It might actually not be live right now anymore. Let's see. So I don't know if I'm actually out live anymore. So I'm going to put a peace sign up there. If I see the peace sign, that means I'm live, still live on Facebook. I might be. I think I am. So for whatever, it's good. Yeah, for whatever reason, Facebook decided to, once I went live, it decided to replay it at the same time. So can you hear me okay there, Robin?
You sound perfect over here now.
Okay, good. So we've had some fun today. And I have no idea who's listening. But anyhow, so I'm going to get started. I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, and real success. And today is all about purpose. Are you living your life on purpose? And true to that, we had a whole bunch of snafus today. And it's my belief that, if you're living your life on purpose, then no matter what's happening around you, it's going to be okay. And that's very important for all of us to appreciate. Because part of what happens in our lives is when we get frustrated or, we get angry, any of these negative feelings, it's my belief that we're not actually taking good care of ourselves. And when we don't take good care of ourselves, then, when other things happen around us, when situations happen around us that basically then upset us, distract us, disorientate us, then we have a tendency to react towards that with either anger or frustration, just basically negative emotions. But here's what's interesting. If you're really living your life on purpose, now, if you're getting the things done that you want to get done, if you're realizing your dreams, then no matter what's really happening around you, you're still going to be able to respond to that adequately. And that's exactly what happened to me tonight. And in fact, this was one evening where I was ready way in advance with all my lighting, the camera set up and everything else. And then for whatever reason, Facebook wasn't cooperating with my platform. And, over the last 4 years, I've just been experimenting with this whole interview process. Kind of getting a sense of it, having fun with it, enjoying the process, and just really sharing my views of life and my experiences in life, but also more importantly, the experiences of other people, which is really the purpose of this platform. But because I'm living my life on purpose, it doesn't mean that everything is confluent all the time. And what I mean by that is that consistency is an essential part to progress, but I'm dealing with so many different things that somehow they're all interrelated and they all affect what I'm doing on purpose. So it's taken me a long time to figure that out. It's taken me many, many years of personal growth. And it's interesting because, as a super achiever, if you will, I don't like the word overachiever. There's no such thing. But as a super achiever, it excites me to achieve things. See, what I'm actually passionate about is creating change, enhancing life, and creating a space for what I call peaceful awareness. And I do that all for free because that's something that I really enjoy doing. And so I started asking myself a question today. What's this whole idea of living life on purpose? What does it really mean? Because all the work that I get to do and the coaching that I get and the coaching that I give, oftentimes it's about, what's preventing us. Today, a conversation I was having with Chad Cooper, Legendary Lifestyles, just an amazing man, an amazing coach, an amazing friend, an amazing brother. Talking about some of the things that prevent us from moving forward, and sometimes we just have way too much on our plates. I'm for one. But these are the things I want to have on my plate because I enjoy doing all these different things, between being a plastic and reconstructive and regenerative surgeon, changing people's lives by either physical transformation through cosmetic surgery, or changing their lifestyles, helping them change their lifestyles by having them make better wellness choices. Or even something more phenomenal, which is harnessing the potential of the body to restore form and function using stem cells. So all these things that I get to do is I create change and enhance their lives. And part of that is, what I'm really dialed in is to inspire people to dream once again. And to get us to that place, we have to have that awareness of where are we right now? Are we on course? But here's the thing. I think a lot of people don't even have a course. Kind of aimlessly out there in the middle of the ocean, wondering where to go. I think a lot of people are given a lot of ideas and beliefs and programming, and they just take that on. And I sort of did that too. I was lucky though. I had a choice between being a doctor and a vet. And the choice basically came from the fact that my parents gave me this aptitude test, when I was 12 or 13 years old. And it said that, I was either destined to be a doctor or a vet. And I think because I really like to connect with people, so energetically somehow that made a lot more sense to me, is actually helping people. I love animals. They don't talk back to me. People do. Sometimes it's not that favorable. But that's an interesting thing in of itself. When things aren't favorable, how is it that you get to respond to that? And so it's not just about the work that you have to do for yourself to overcome frustration and anger and setbacks and sadness, depression, melancholy, whatever it is, embarrassment, jealousy, all those feelings. Again, it's the misconceptions of all those beliefs that we hold are true. So if we're living life on purpose, that means that we actually have a blueprint somewhere. A blueprint that says, okay, this is your destiny. I kind of really outlined my destiny when I was 21. And I had these big plans as to, what I was going to do in my life. First of all, I was in medical school already. I started when I was 17. But that wasn't enough for me. There had to be more than just that. And so I looked beyond medicine and looked at, well, you know what? Maybe I want to run a hospital. I mean, that would be really cool. And then there was that film that came out then about the gangs of New York. And I thought to myself, you know what? It'd be really cool to help those guys out there. They were kind of misdirected in life. So as life has progressed for me and I became a plastic surgeon and then diving into the world of personal growth, things shifted big time. And for now, the message is, how is it that we get to enhance our lives? Because we're capable of more. We're capable of better in all aspects of our life. It doesn't mean that there's a lack in life. It doesn't mean that life isn't good enough. Life can be great in every single moment. As long as you're working on those parts that give you that purpose. There was a time that I kind of scoffed at the idea of purpose. Well, of course I got a purpose. I'm a freaking doctor, for God's sakes. And that's what I think happens too often, is that you get stuck in this mindless action, in this mindless behavior, day in, day out, whether it's driving to work, taking your shift at work, having the same kind of stories with people, and then come home, have the same kinds of conversations, and sit in front of the tube. That's English for TV. So I think the majority of people are like that. And they shouldn't be. Because what happens when there aren't enough jobs to go around in this world? Because with the advancement of technology, that's definite. That's going to happen. So where does that leave purpose? Now, granted, to be able to be dialed into purpose, you can't be in this place what we call survival. And there's a lot of people in that place of survival. But survival really is that place where you're barely making it. You don't know if you're going to make it at the end of the week, end of the month, end of the year. For lots of different reasons. And so in essence, you're really a victim of the environment around you. But that's also a choice. There are plenty of people that have gone from rags to riches. And so can everyone else. And whatever those riches are, that's something that we get to define for ourselves. And I'm constantly redefining what that wealth and abundance is for me. I constantly look around myself and see what other people are accomplishing and realize, wow, you know what? I want that standard. So what standards am I living my life? What is it that I can contribute to this world? What is my talent that the world deserves to experience from me? So all of that gets wrapped up into purpose. And so the thing that we have to ask ourselves constantly, am I on purpose? Am I going to leave a legacy? Am I making a difference in this world? Or am I really just focused on myself? Am I still stuck in that survival place where it's almost like I can't get enough so that I can feel successful? And that, again, I think it's a matter of not allowing ourselves the openness to find the alignment of what makes us feel great. So if you're in a place of stress, disappointment, embarrassment, shame, anger, frustration, criticism of others, judgment of others. Or maybe you just have to manipulate other people just so that you can get your way. Does that really feel any good? If we're honest with ourselves, taking advantage of other people, just so you you serve yourself. And so that then allows us to really become clear. What does feel good? Am I happy? Am I enjoying this? Like I was enjoying the disasters that happened on this whole setup today, and not taking it personally. It's interesting when all these data points, as I like to point out, psychic data points, and not psychic from like metaphysical, but psychic from psychological. All the different data points that we can start integrating in the whole framework of what our life is. And just not taking things personally. I think that's huge. That's awesome. And I got this from the Toltec wisdom from Miguel Ruiz for the four agreements. And all the different data points. I am not sure what's happening here. And in the whole frame. All right. But maybe that was you, Robin. Was that you?
Nope, not me.
Oh, it just suddenly showed up.
Goes to
it's kind of funny today. It's never done this before, and here's the thing: if I was a novice at this and all this shit happened today, then I think, maybe I don't know what I'm doing.
You're teaching through this right now, that.
I guess so. But it's like it's never done it before. Every time there's like something new that's showing up. But anyhow, I lost my train of thought. So happiness, I always say, I talk about happiness, and that is about resolve whatever makes you unhappy. And we're human beings. And if we could be something versus doing stuff, it makes a huge difference. But all the beingness allows us to live that life on purpose. So being graceful, being great, and using these attributes to create something that's great beyond yourself. And so when we talk about the psychic data points, like not taking things personally. Another one of his is, do your best. Then there's two more, and I forget what they are. But the point is that as we start gathering all these different ideas and insights to help us, find our way, to find the resonance that can exist within us and around us as we relate to everything that happens.
Now at the T-minus 60 seconds.
And so it's doing it again.
For the call out that Falcon 9 is in startup.
I don't know why that is. All right, hold on a second. So something keeps on showing up. Let's see. Okay. I have no idea what's going on here. Yeah, it's my computer. My computer is possessed.
Technology wins again.
Yeah, and things, I don't know. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I don't know where it's coming from. It's the weirdest thing. Let's see, hold on a second. I am going to take these out, see what happens. All right. I really need a whole production crew to help me with this stuff. But anyhow, where was I? So ultimately on purpose is when we have the big outcome, the big goal that we're striving towards, that we're moving towards. So that as we're accomplishing it, as we're working towards it, even if it's ended prematurely, you could happily say, you know what, I've lived my life on purpose. I work towards my goal. And sometimes I think about that because I have all these great things that I'm doing, and I want to see them to their completion. And I know I will. And so many people don't. They don't get to fulfill their dreams. In fact, one of my teachers, a great teacher of mine, died way too young. And it was unfortunate. But at least I know that he could say to the world that he was living his life on his terms, by his design. And he would have been happy to go whenever it was his time to go. So what is that for you if your life were to end today? So here's an interesting question. If you only had 24 hours to live, what would you do? Who would you talk to? Who would you call up? And what would you tell them? What would you want them to know about how you felt about them? What you believed about them? What you valued about them? About the relationship that you have with them? Why isn't it that you're not doing that now already on a regular basis? And when I was reminded of that, and again, my own coach taught me that one. I changed my relationship with people. I was making sure that they knew what I felt about them, what I valued about them, finding gratitude for the things that they were doing, and making sure that they knew it. Where are the things that you needed to have peace with? Maybe there's a grievance with somebody else. And how would you maintain peace with them? It's something that you were able to finally let go. I'm done with this. If you only had 24 hours to live. What about if you only had 6 months to live? Well, what are some of the things that you would do in your life? If 6 months was enough to accomplish all those things. Is there a reason you're not doing them now? And I think that's a key distinction that we all have to realize, is that we can't wait. We can't put off those things that really fulfill us, excite us, transform us, or we get to transform other people's lives. So it's critically important for us to constantly be in touch with our purpose, with our blueprint, what makes us happy. So if that's just in general, what about the very much in specific? So my outcome for this podcast, with all the upsets that have happened, was to have people ask the question, what is their purpose? What's going on in their life? What's stopping them from living that purpose? What's stopping them from feeling the fulfillment? Because we don't need stress. We don't have to live in that place of stress. Why not just be happy? And so asking those questions was my outcome. So every moment of the day has an outcome. As I schedule all my things, I have outcomes for each and every one of them. What is it that I want to specifically achieve? So rather than having a to-do list, and this is something I learned from Tony Robbins, totally transformed my life when everything was more about outcomes. Rather than calling up, one of my kids, it's about, let's have this wonderful conversation and connections so that I can find out ways to enhance their lives and share some magic moments together versus just picking up the phone and calling them. Or what about when you're driving the kids to school? It's one of those blocks during the day of the to-dos, of the many to-dos, and it's a missed opportunity because all your focus on the action is to get your kids to school. What if that was a time to impart some great wisdom? What if that was a time that you could find out what's really going on in their lives? And I hear way too often, from people with kids, is that they have no idea what's going on with their kids. You know, and I was a victim of that too, for other reasons perhaps. But I didn't know everything that was happening with my kids. And so nowadays I really try hard to know what's going on with my kids. And so where else is this showing up in your life? You know, do you have a to-do list that says clean up the house? Or why not creating this beautiful environment that we can call home, where we can feel safe and secure and not be encumbered with all the clutter? And so that we have the freedom and the peace of mind so that we can get in touch with our creative selves. Because that's what clutter does. As much as you might not think that, it really takes away from your ability to focus on what's really important. And it's the clutter of the mind too, with all the distractions that happen. With the brain hacking, in fact. I mean, we've all heard about how social media is hacking into our brains. They've got specific algorithms. But it's not just that. It's the media. It's other people. It's what's going around. So there's a lot of brain hacking. You know, Jim Rohn was the one who said, you know, stand guard at the door of your brain. You know, what are you letting people tell you? You know, so it's not a new concept. It just has come in many different forms. And it makes sense. You know, everybody was out there to want to make money, to influence. But oftentimes the desire to influence is for their purpose, talking about purpose and serving them. But the greatest purpose is when we can serve others, you know, with the highest morality, highest ethics. And that, again, is the purpose of this platform, is to serve you by just giving you ideas that you can take on, you can challenge, you can like them. You know, it's the same thing with my book. The book here, and this is just a little promo on my book, you know, 52-week success plan. You know, it's about 52 different habits that you can just try out, one every week. If you're a super achiever, do 3 a week. I wouldn't do more than that. It's all about helping the world with new ideas, different ideas for transformation. And I'm very passionate about that because as learned as I am, all the years of education, I was really lucky. I went to some brilliant schools, brilliant universities. I went to medical school when I was 17. And so what I'm getting at is as educated as I was, you know, I still didn't have a clue of what life was, of who I was. You know, sometimes people that really have had a lot of challenges from youth, you know, Tony Robbins is one of them. Guess who else? Oprah Winfrey, right? They had to learn how to live and who they were very early on in the hardest way. And they've become super successful. And my hope is, because I don't know them well enough, is that they find that happiness and peace. And so what I do here is tapping into what I call the collective wisdom to create a space for generative collaboration. And so as we sort of wind down this this podcast that's been challenged from the beginning, and I was tempted to not do it. But, you know, again, it's what's my purpose? My purpose is to enjoy the process, to find happiness, to contribute beyond myself, and to constantly expand. And then take care of my basic needs. And be in that place of wealth and abundance, whatever that looks like. It's very different than I thought it was supposed to be. But I'm where I want to be right now. And it's a daily choice. And so that's why I say, you know, give ourselves permission to be human. Don't be misled by the misconceptions that were given to us, the programming that we got from when we were a kid, and the updates that probably didn't serve us over time. You know, when was the last update for you? So here's your update now. What's your purpose? Are you living your purpose? If you're not happy most of the time, then find out why. What's holding you back? What's preventing you? What extra weight are you carrying? Ask yourself these questions. Best thing is find a coach. You get a book that talks about personal development, personal improvement, because it's possible for you. As I continue to improve my podcast, my lighting is great today. Last week was bad. And hopefully the streaming is better. The streaming was bad last time. It just changed my computer. But I really wish you all to find that purpose in your life, find that blueprint, and get resourceful to figure out what you really need to do. Anyhow, I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, prescription for your transformation, real people, real conversation, real success, and hoping to bring you many great interviews with many great people. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Dr. Rademaker's Prescription for Transformation. Join Dr. Bart Rademaker live right here on Radio Star Worldwide each week or on demand 24/7.
Peace out.